Hello and welcome to our web. Hello and welcome. Who is in the title? Hello and welcome to our webinar. The clue is in the title. I'm Annie Bostrom, Associate Editor in Adult Books at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. To resize the slides, look to the magnifying glass icons located to the left of the slides. There you can increase or decrease the size and select how you'd like the slides to appear. If you lose audio or would like to change the way you're connected to it, look at the bottom of your screen for a circle with 3 dots. Clicking that icon will open a menu with an audio connection option. The audience is in listen-only mode today, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the right side of your screen is a control panel with an area at the bottom for Q&A. Simply type your question into the field and click Send. Attendees can see questions asked during the webinar and the answers provided. A link to today's slides was sent directly to you from WebEx at the start of this webinar, but you can also download it at any time by copying the URL on this screen into your web browser. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive a follow-up email containing links to today's slide presentation, certificate of completion, and video recording. Today we have the pleasure of hearing from Alexa Waco, publicist at Soho Crime, Sarah Porter, editor at Severn House, Kendra Martin, sales and marketing manager at Dundurn Press, Maureen Meekins, associate marketing manager at Penguin Random House, and Chris Connolly, senior library marketing associate at HarperCollins. We'll kick things off with Alexa Waco. Alexa joined Soho Press's publicity and marketing team in the summer of 2018. Previously, she worked as an editor at Glasstown Entertainment. If you're ever in need of galleys, reach out to her directly at awaco@sohopress.com. Thanks so much for joining us today, Alexa. The floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to be joining you virtually, if not actually in person. And right off the bat, I hope everyone's well and healthy. And also thanks to Booklist for organizing this. And with that, I'm going to jump right into it. For those of you who aren't familiar with me, or Soho Crime is an imprint of Soho Press. We have 2 other imprints, Soho Teen and Soho Press, that I'm not going to talk about today. I'm just going to focus on crime for the obvious reasons. And we actually have a special kind of focus on international and place-based mysteries. So yeah, I'll jump right into it. Oh, there I am. So first of all, I just want to talk quickly. I'm not going to spend as much time, equal amount of time on every single title, so I might skip past a couple pretty quickly. But Death on Tuckernuck is actually out next week by Francine Matthews. She's an incredible writer, also the author of the Jane mysteries under the pen name Stephanie Barron that you might be familiar with. But Death on Tuckernuck is the latest in her Mary Folger mystery series, all of which take place in New England, specifically in Nantucket, and more specifically, this one is inspired by the real Tuckernuck Island, which is a small and secluded piece of privately owned land off the coast of Nantucket. The basic premise for this is in Category 3 winds of a late season hurricane, Nantucket Police Detective Mary Folger and her team attempt a rescue off the secluded island of Tuckernuck, only to discover a floating yacht with a couple of dead bodies. The mystery kind of evolves from there with multi-POVs, including the caretakers of Nantucket Island. But this mystery has everything. It has atmosphere, it has an awesome female detective, and also has this really interesting kind of conflict between kind of the salt of the earth workers of that area and also kind of the more elite, rich vacationers. I won't give too much away, but again, that's Death on Tuckernuck. So anyone looking for a very atmospheric beach read that is a crime beach read, I would definitely recommend this one. Next, I'm really excited to talk about Murder in Chianti. I have actually a couple of Italian mysteries on this list today, but I'm just really happy in general to be able to talk about, our friends in Italy, given everything that's going on. But Murder in Chianti is a pretty straightforward, awesome atmospheric mystery set in Tuscan wine country by Camilla Trinchieri, who is the author of The Price of Silence. We're really excited to have her back. She is an excellent prose writer, but her father was an Italian diplomat, so also she just brings Italy to life with intimate knowledge. The basic premise of this one, other than a murder occurs in Tuscan wine country, is it's actually centered on a former recently retired NYPD homicide detective named Nico Doyle, who is half Italian, but more specifically, he moved to the small town of Gravina in the wine-soaked region of Chianti in order to feel closer to his late wife, who was Italian and who was born in this area, Gravina, which he moves to. Of course, the job kind of can't lose him, even though he's lost his job or moved on. And pretty soon on in the book, he discovers a dead body, presumed to be the body of a dead American, actually, near his cabin, and who died of a gunshot wound. So because of things that I won't go into in his past, which are kind of spoilery, he doesn't want to be involved in this murder investigation, but the local detective, Salvatore Perillo, actually kind of coerces him a little bit into helping solve this mystery, or solve this murder case, rather. It turns out more than one person in this idyllic corner of Italy knew the victim, and with that very small pool of suspects, actually includes his own in-laws. Nico is set up to dig up every last painful secret in order to get the truth. So Camilla herself is amazing. This is a really incredible, again, kind of escape read, and it's the first in series, so we're really excited about it. And if you're not sold already, there is actually a little dog involved that Nico finds near the body and who kind of becomes his companion. So let the dog sell it for you. Excellent. So next up we have The Finisher by mystery crime writing legend Peter Lovesey. He is the titan of the British detective novel, so if you haven't heard of him, please definitely check this one out. He has 50 years of backlist to fall into. All of it is incredible. I don't even have time to go into his numerous awards, but just trust me, there's a lot of them. And I'm happy to say, as I've already mentioned, that this is publishing on the 50th anniversary, that's 50 anniversary of the publication of his first novel. It's also a return to the subject of his very first mystery, which is running. So this centers around this is a installment in the Detective Peter Diamond series. He's tasked with crowd control on the raucous day of a half marathon in Bath. It's called The Other Half, and he happens to catch sight of a violent criminal he put away a decade ago who very much seems to be up to his old tricks now that he's recently been paroled. So his hackles are already up, and then he learns that one of the runners never crossed the finish line and disappeared without a trace. So Diamond suspects that he is a spectator to murder, and you can guess whether or not he's right. So Peter's mysteries are always ingenious puzzles, but most importantly, they're a lot of fun to boot. And there's another POV in this book, which is Maeve Kelly, who is a participant in the race. She's an elementary school teacher whose mother kind of has always been down on her for not having like a super slim body type. And she decides to participate in the marathon in order to convince her mother that she can actually be fit and have the body type that she was born into. So that's just another kind of fun aspect of this book. And like I mentioned, we're actually doing a 50th anniversary collector's edition of Peter's first novel, which actually isn't really a return to running so much as wobbling, which is a real sport of power walking, as you can see kind of from the evocation on the cover. It's just also, again, funny, ingenious, and so charming, just like Peter himself. Okay, so of course I'm a little behind. Really quickly, The Red Horse is the latest installment in James R. Benn's mystery series, World War II historical mystery series, The Billy Boyle Investigation. Anyone familiar with James might know already that he, before he began writing full-time, he was a librarian himself, so this one is definitely a library favorite for maybe that reason, and also because it's awesome. And this one is actually, the series is beloved by Nancy Pearl. For any of our series, you can jump right in. This one is kind of extra special. It takes place during World War II, and it follows Billy Boyle, who is a U.S. Army detective. In this one, though, he's actually brought to St. Albans Convalescent Hospital in order to recover from shell shock and emotional exhaustion when he's told by his major, or asked rather, his help is enlisted in solving what appears to be the murder of a British agent recuperating at St. Albans. So there is kind of more than meets the eye in this exclusive and kind of top secret high security enclave. So we would definitely recommend this to any historical mystery reader, and that is The Red Horse. Next, another one I'm really excited about, The Sleeping Nymph. is the follow-up, much anticipated, to Flowers in the Inferno by Ilaria Tutti, which actually is a Barnes & Noble mystery pick for April. That's Flowers, the first in series. You don't have to read every one of our series, like I said, so you can jump right in. Ilaria has a really high profile in Italy. She's been reviewed in Vanity Fair, Marie Claire, in Wired, among many other outlets. And this one is definitely not cozy. It's much more of a kind of gruesome, true detective vibe, except set in kind of the mysterious, rural, small enclaves of the Italian countryside and also kind of some mountainside towns. My favorite part about this series is that it stars Superintendent Teresa Battaglia, who is an expert criminal profiler, but she's unique in the sense that she's older. She's in her mid-60s and has 4 decades of experience on the Italian police force under her belt. She's salty, she's smart, and she's just awesome to spend time with. And there's kind of a really cool narrative here of Teresa's body kind of starting to fail her that is very realistic and just very kind of heart-wrenchingly portrayed. In this one, the investigation actually takes place when DNA analysis reveals a painting from the final days of World War II contains matter from a human heart. Again, a little bit gruesome. Teresa is able to trace evidence to one of Italy's most isolated, untouched regions. When she hits too close to truth, however, a second human heart is hung at the valley's entrance, a warning not to cross its threshold. So again, it's kind of a very atmospheric but gruesome mystery, but it's excellently and amazingly evoked. Great. For anyone familiar with Stuart Neville, he is this really awesome, incredible Irish noir writer, specifically from Northern Ireland, and I'm really excited to publish this collection of chilling standalone tales. He blends crime fiction, horror, and speculative fiction, but in this one also is a novella and also stories that link to his incredible previous work, which is The Ghosts of Belfast. So I think that if you're interested in that genre blend of crime fiction, horror, and speculative fiction, I would definitely recommend Stuart, even if you're not familiar with his work already. He's really one of our most incredible prose writers. Great. I am really excited about this one. The Opium Prince is written by Jasmine Mock. It's an incredible literary thriller debut, and it takes place in 1970s Afghanistan amidst the thriving opium trade. The main character is born to an American mother and late Afghan war hero turned magnate. His name is Daniel Zahadi, and he's just trying to kind of do his best as a foreign aid operative who has been tasked with staunching the growth of the poppy fields in Fever Valley that feed the world's opiate epidemic. Sorry, that's a mouthful. However, on the drive back to Kabul from an anniversary trip with his wife, he inadvertently hits and kills a young Kochi girl named Talaya. Talaya is part of one of the nomad tribes of Afghanistan who are largely ignored, unfortunately, in the eyes of the law, and Daniel is let off with a nominal fine due to a mysterious witness at the scene, a man named Taj Maleki, who turns out to be a prominent opium con, and he decides to kind of get Daniel in his pocket. Racked with visions, Daniel begins to unravel, running from his rapidly crumbling marriage and threats of blackmail and murder from Taj, who would do anything to save his poppy fields from eradication. This is going to be a really big book for us, so please check it out. It's especially interesting, to anyone interested kind of in historical fiction, but also is a kind of pulse-pounding thriller. Lastly, I'm sorry that I've run out of time to really talk about it, but it kind of speaks for itself. We are so excited to have New York Times bestselling author of the Maisie Dobbs series, Jacqueline Winspear, with us once more. However, she's with us with a memoir. The very appropriately and I hope prophetically titled This Time Next Year We'll Be Laughing. Jacqueline's awesome. If you're not familiar with her, Maisie Dobbs has made her a household name. And we hope you'll check out her memoir. Oops. Sorry about that. That was my timer going off. So that's Jackie's memoir, and it's a really important reminder of the strength and resilience of the human spirit, which is something that we think is really important right now. A lot of the anecdotes are family anecdotes from just after World War II, which also, for any fans of Maisie Dobbs, you'll know which inspired the Maisie Dobbs series. And lastly, thank you so much. Sorry I went a little bit over, but please write me. We also have an awesome librarian newsletter if you'd like to sign up, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Next, we will hear from Sarah Porter. Sarah started her career with editorial and sales roles at Headline and Penguin UK before moving to Severn House in 2011. A Yorkshire lass, she loved soccer, discovering new bands, and trying to design and make her own clothes, often with disastrous consequences. Take it away, Sarah.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and I'm delighted to join you all from England to present some of Severn House's new mysteries and thrillers coming soon to the States. I'm going to start with a few of our exciting new authors. First up, it's our new fearless female investigators. Let me just get a slide. Our new fearless female investigators, and a star is dead by the wonderful Elaine Veeves. This is her third title in her Angela Rickman Death Investigator series and her first title to Severn House. If you love gripping mysteries featuring larger-than-life characters, you will be dazzled by diva Jessica Gray, who's finishing the last leg of her show in St. Louis and making quite a few enemies along the way. So when she's murdered, how will Angela catch the killer? This darkly humorous, pacey forensic mystery will appeal to fans of J.A. Jans and Lisa Gardner, and it's had great reviews from Booklist, Publishers Weekly, and Library Journal. Next is A Full Cold Moon by Lisa Marie Redmond, the fourth title in the Cold Case Investigation series featuring Buffalo cop Lauren Riley. Another great addition to the Severn House list. Lisa's experience as a homicide detective with the Buffalo Police Department ensures this compelling series offers readers a genuine insight into a police investigation. Here, a man murdered on the night of a full cold moon triggers memories of a previous case Lauren was unable to solve, and she's determined not to fail again. If you like strong yet complex female protagonists, we think you'll really enjoy seeing Lauren face her demons as she's pushed to her limits in this truthfully gripping police procedural, sure to appeal to fans of Lisa Scottoline and Alison Brennan. Moving on to a couple more new authors. I can just work the slide. Here we go. Right. This time featuring exceptionally plotted new thrillers. In Beyond Gone, return specialist Simon Fisk is on his most dangerous mission yet, trekking through the African forest to rescue the granddaughter of the US Secretary of State from terrorists. Can he locate the underground militant group bent on using the girl in a high-profile terror attack before it's too late? This is an action-packed, fast-paced international thriller where the stakes could not be higher, perfect for those who love Lee Child, Robert Ludlum, and Greg Coed. Now, Rennie Earth, author of the popular John Madden series, brings us Cold Kill, a new standalone contemporary thriller featuring American actress Addie Banks, who arrives in London to spend Christmas with her aunt, but finds herself dragged into a deadly game of cat and mouse on the capital's snowy streets. It is as exhilarating as it sounds, with assassins and danger lurking at every turn, and if you've ever been to London, you'll be familiar with many of the famous locations where the action occurs. Philip Kerr has described Rennie as one of the best detective writers around, and this book will especially appeal if you like John le Carré and Charles Cumming. Right, moving on to a couple of thoroughly entertaining cozies, and we're really thrilled to introduce The Clutter Corps, the first most fascinating new contemporary series called The Decluttering Mysteries from the wonderful Simon Brett. The star of this new series is declutterer Ellen Curtis, and Ellen encounters all sorts of weird and wonderful objects in the course of her work, but she's never encountered a dead body until now. Booklist have already given the book a star review, and we were also bowled over by this one. It's full of shocking revelations, twists and turns, warmth, and all the wit and quirkiness you'd expect from Simon Brett. Perfect for fans of MC Beaton. And now we have The Lifeline by Margaret Mayhew. This is a charming, amusing series with a quintessentially English village feel and super quirky characters. It's the sixth book in the Froggin Village mystery series, and if you haven't yet met the Colonel, Hugh, the gentle but reluctant put-upon village sleuth, you're in for a real treat. Here, Ruth, the owner of the village manor house, is running a plant-selling business and gardening therapy group for her husband, Dr. Tom's troubled patients. And it all seems to be going incredibly well until a chilling discovery is made in one of the greenhouses among the tomato plants, and Hugh is dragged into investigating by his fellow villagers. Charming, intriguing, and warmly entertaining, this is perfectly next to the Clutter Corps here, and is essential reading again for MC Beaton fans. More cozies, these both feature female sleuths who have extremely adorable pets in their lives. Deadly Primrose's seventh novel in the Frances Alcaraz series, and Suzette's first with Severn House. This quirky English cozy with an incredible twist is ideal for fans of Simon Brett and Nancy Beaton, as well as Anne Granger and Debbie Young. When a local woman drowns, Primrose is sure the story around her demise does not add up, and with so much incompetence around, she is compelled to investigate herself, with the help of her new pets, Morris and Bouncer, inherited from her late brother Francis. The pets play a delightful role in the story, popping up with their own narratives and unique perspectives. This is a really fun, entertaining mystery. Then we have Death of a Bean Counter, the 12th darkly brewed coffee house cozy set in Wisconsin starring Maggie Thornton. Each entry in this series feels as fresh as opening a new jar of coffee beans. And here the wealthy investment advisor partner of Maggie's barista Amy is shot dead, and Amy is the prime suspect. Can Maggie untangle lies, jealousy, and shady dealings in time to avert the disaster that's brewing? We strongly recommend this book and series to fans of Chris Cavanagh's Pizza Mysteries, Elizabeth J. Jenkins' Penny Brannigan series, and Laura Child's Tea Shop Mysteries. Moving on to historical mysteries, with two stellar medieval mysteries here. The Hour of the Fox introduces us to reluctant spy and friar sleuth Roderick Chandler in the first of a brand new mystery series set in 14th century London, ideal for fans of Paul Doherty and Ellis Peters. Can Roderick find out who cut the throat of a young nun and threw her remains in the river? This absorbing mystery is full of rich detail and atmosphere. Historical mystery fans will love it. From medieval London to medieval Paris, 1396, where a baby abandoned in the palace gardens leaves scribe sleuth Christine de Pizan to wonder whether there's an evil plot against the Duchess of Orleans, who's accused of being a sorceress. Christine soon makes a number of disturbing discoveries in this compelling mystery involving superstition and scandal. Could the palace filter the key to unlocking the mystery? Vividly imagined and full of intriguing characters, this book will appeal to fans of Karen Maitland, Susanna Gregory, and Candice Robb. On to the latest gripping mystery from Booklist, Sense of Danger, featuring Ursula Blanchard. It's February 1586, and when the Queen Spy Master Sir Francis Walsingham learns that Ursula is to visit her relatives in Devon, he asks her to find out what has happened to two of his local agents. Ursula soon discovers that both spies have had mysterious and fatal accidents, or is there more to it than that? This engrossing Tudor mystery, full of secrets, lies, and spies, and brimming with action and political intrigue, is sure to appeal to fans of Rory Clements and H.J. Paris. From one era to another, The Doomed List is an intriguing new 1920s mystery featuring Irish-born cop turned private investigator Tom Collins. Newly appointed movie czar William H. Hayes is keen to bar undesirable actors on his list from screen work to clean up Hollywood. The director Rex Ingram hires Tom to protect the reputation of the leading lady of his new film. But Barbara Lamere isn't the only member of the cast hiding a dangerous secret, and Tom is soon drawn into a case of scandal, forbidden love, blackmail, and cold-blooded murder. This traditional crime noir set in Hollywood's golden age, full of sizzling twists, will appeal to fans of James Elroy, James M. Cain, and Dashiell Hammett. Focusing now on mysteries with strong settings. Here we go. And first of all, we're excited to welcome Kui Zhonglong and his outstanding Inspector Chen to our list of Hold Your Breath China, a tense political mystery set in the heart of Shanghai. Chen is brought into a serial murder case when a homicide squad proves incapable of solving it, but is then called away and asked to infiltrate the group of environmental activists. This enthralling read, the 10th in the series, has been dramatised in a BBC Radio 4 production and has received starred reviews from both Booklist and Publishers Weekly. A truly brilliant and fascinating read for anyone interested in gaining an insight into modern China. We're also delighted to relate you to the new Cara Ramsey thriller, Red Red Snow, a tense, twisted detective mystery set in a very different location, the wild and snowy Scottish Highlands. Gorgeous place. Detectives Anderson and Costello are called to investigate the bloodstained aftermath of a Christmas party. What secrets are lurking within this isolated and superstitious community? The detectives uncover greed and obsession in this unsettling atmospheric police procedure, which will appeal to fans of Anne Cleese's Shetland series and Louise Penny's Inspector Armand series, and has received excellent reviews from Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. Now, a couple more thrillers. We love a good thriller. Henry Christie is back in this hard-hitting police procedural set in the north of England. Henry makes a grisly discovery while responding to the Moreland fires and agrees to help the police with their investigation. He is soon confronted an explosive mix of organised crime, violence and drug turf wars, which leads him back to his old hunting ground in Blackpool, an old enemy's hungry for revenge. Nick Alden's 30-year career with the police ensures his novels offer readers fascinating glimpses into the realities of police investigation, and this action-packed series will appeal to fans of Peter Robinson and Stephen Booth. Another edge-of-your-seat thriller, Rough Justice by Matt Hilton, the latest in the popular Graham Valere series. When a plane crashes in the North Woods of Maine, private investigator Tess sets off into the woods with her partner, Poe, to search a crash site. But they aren't the only ones heading into the woods. This tough, violent, and fast-paced action thriller will appeal to fans of Lee Child and Chris Ryan. Finishing off with two suspense-filled tales. Here we go. Both set on the coast. Frame for Time features Vanessa Everly, an actress traumatized by the night 8 years ago when her younger sister Roxanne was kidnapped on the beach near her home in Oregon. Now Vanessa receives the news that Roxanne is alive and she's reunited with her sister. Roxanne can't remember what happened that night, but someone else can. Vanessa's torment should be over, but it's about to get much, much darker. This heart-pounding psychological thriller will appeal to fans of Karin Rose and Erica Spindler, and to anyone who enjoys dark, dangerous, and addictive reads. So the last book I'm going to share with you today is another great one, off script by the critically acclaimed Graham Hurley, who is the author of The Faraday and Winter and the Jimmy Stuttle Police Procedurals. This is the third title in Graham's Nora Anderson series, a contemporary thriller series with a strong female lead. In Off Script, Enora's friend Carrie Tillman confronts an intruder, and it forces Enora to track down the terrifying presence at Carrie's bedside. Enora's journey takes her deep into the netherworld of homelessness, neglect, and the unaddressed traumas of people young and old failing to cope with their demons. Graham has been compared to P.T. James and John Harvey by Library Journal, and we think readers will really enjoy this gripping, dark thriller. Thanks so much for listening, and please do follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out our NetGalley page to find out more about our new titles. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Our next presenter will be Kendra Martin. Kendra is the Sales and Marketing Manager at Dundurn Press, a trade publisher based in Toronto. Thanks for joining us, Kendra.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kendra Martin. Yes, as you said, I'm speaking to you all the way from Toronto. I hope everyone is well today. If we're meeting for the first time, a brief introduction. Dundurn Press is a Toronto-based trade publisher with a particular focus on mystery and thriller books. Our mystery fiction list has a series for every reader taste, from cozies, contemporary and historical, to amateur sleuths and bird-watching police detectives. We publish about 15 new mystery titles per year in both ongoing series and standalones. Today I'm going to talk to you about 4 new series we're launching in 2020, along with a new domestic thriller. First off, let's talk about Never Forget by Martin Michaud. This is the first book. It's a police procedural in a new series by the master of the Quebec thriller. Readers of Jo Nesbø's Scandinavian noir Harry Hole series will find their match with Victor Lessard. Victor's a driven police detective in Montreal with a troubled relationship with both alcohol and his family. The story's crimes take center stage in this extremely intricate plot that weaves in threads from the past to inform the present-day murder that is inspired by medieval torture devices. This one is not for the faint of heart, definitely for Jo Nesbø fans. True events from the 70s in Montreal form the spider web plot, including the separatist terrorist FLQ crisis and the CIA-backed mind control experiments in Montreal hospitals. Never Forget has been called a crackerjack read by Quill and Quire, with a plot that demands the reader's attention by Booklist. Reviewers on Goodreads have said, "This is an intense, absorbing novel, intricate and so well translated it left me breathless." Someone else said, "The plot is like a labyrinth that twists in a multitude of directions. There is a lot of moving parts, but instead of getting lost, I quickly found myself in, damn it, I need to know what's going on territory." Dundurn is excited to be continuing with this Victor Lessard series, with the second book titled Without Blood is going to be released in March 2021. Never Forget is available now in trade paperback and ebook from your favorite vendors, and please check out Edelweiss or email me if you'd like a review copy. Next up, I'm going to talk about The Star Sting Scale, which is the first book in a noir crime series about a rough and tumble retired professional killer, Candace, don't call me Candy, Starr, who reluctantly teams up with a straight-laced female police detective to solve a crime. The twist is that former hitwoman Candace Starr may have been the one to commit the murder, or did she? Candace Starr is rude, independent, really tall, definitely alcoholic, bisexual, loyal to her tribe, and can be caustically funny. She's done time and is thinking of reforming her criminal ways to a point when a murder that has all her hallmarks drops on her doorstep. That's when the cops come knocking, looking for intel on the crime. Candace helps to solve the whodunit so the cops can stop sniffing around her for clues. The Star Sting Scale is hard-boiled crime fiction with a dark, feminine twist for fans of Marvel's Jessica Jones TV series or for readers of Wallace Strobe's Chrissa Stone novels. The story is gritty and dark and action-filled, but it's punctuated with lots of dark humor. Candace Starr has been described as oddly charismatic by Booklist and a tough, deadly type who just might surprise you by Kirkus. Goodreads reviewers have compared Candace Starr to Anita Blake without the vampires and supernatural elements. The Star Sting Scale is available now in trade paperback, ebook, and audiobook, and you can check out Edelweiss or email me if you'd like a review copy of this one. Next up, this is a cozy mystery, Roanoke Ridge, and it's set in the bizarre and rather fascinating world of Sasquatching. The annual Roanoke Valley Bigfoot Festival is about to begin, and believers have gathered in the sleepy Oregon town to search for the mythic creature. Popular science journalist and Bigfoot skeptic Laura Regan has been summoned to help locate her family friend and mentor, who went missing a few days ago on the ridge. Does his disappearance have something to do with Bigfoot? When a body is found, the search and rescue operation turns to a murder investigation. Laura's steadfast belief in facts, not myths and hearsay, is tested as she comes up against increasing clues that suggest a Sasquatch may be to blame. But just like Scooby-Doo mysteries, Bigfoot is a specter that looms but never materializes in the story of the clash between the skeptics and the believers. This series, the Creature X Mystery series, is going to take Laura and a documentary crew across the globe, filming different mythical creatures and solving crimes that surface in those locations. The next book is titled Lake Crescent, set in Newfoundland, and it's scheduled to be published in 2021 in March. However, Roanoke Ridge is available right now in trade paperback and ebook. The next one that I want to talk about is Tell Me My Name. This is a roller coaster domestic thriller for fans of Ruth Ware and Sherry LaPena, featuring a rustic cottage retreat, a suspicious new neighbor, a violent kidnapping, and a wife who learns her husband isn't telling the whole truth. Ellie and Neil Patterson are eager to enjoy some quality time at their new cottage. It's the first time in 10 years they've been alone. Or are they? When a friendly encounter leads to their violent kidnapping, they awaken to a living nightmare. Insisting he is Ellie's soulmate, the stranger gives Ellie 3 chances to say his name. If she guesses wrong, it's Neil who will suffer those consequences. This propels Ellie on a desperate search down memory lane to dredge up the dubious men from her past. Only after discovering the man's true identity and sacrificing her own safety to save Neil does Ellie finally learn the truth, that everything she thinks she knows about her husband and their decade-long love story is a lie. In a market hot for domestic thrillers, Tell Me My Name is a standout. It's never letting go of the tension, excitement, and suspense, while characters are authentic and relatable. In their review, Publishers Weekly said, readers will cheer as Ellie faces her fears and takes decisive action to save herself and her family. Erin Reddy plays effectively with issues of identity, regret, and forgiveness in this suspenseful thriller. Tell Me My Name releases in October in trade paperback and ebook, and review copies are available right now on NetGalley. Next up, I'm going to talk about another new series. I'll invite you to journey with me to an alternate version of 1930s Manhattan Depression-era time. Night Call is it's really a techno-noir with a bit of sci-fi, but a real focus on the mystery, and it's by a debut author, Brendan Carlson. It's set in a different world where technological advances have enabled cheap robotic labor and wondrous innovations, but have caused a great divide between the rich and the poor. The rich live in upper city Manhattan, a world suspended above the ground that blocks out the sun for those less fortunate to be living in the lower city Manhattan. Our jaded and flawed hero is Elias Roach, a former New York cop who now works as an enforcer for the mob. Elias gets called in to investigate when 2 robot automatics go on a murdering rampage in a speakeasy, killing 3 cops among other people. Elias is asked by the cops to track down who controlled those automatics and to reveal their motives for the murder. Elias's journey uncovers the seedy underbelly of New York policing, where both the New York cops and the FBI have ulterior motives. Elias is working with a robot partner, Alan, who is a newbie and a by-the-book kind of cop, robot cop, offering a foil to Elias's rough and ready approach to investigation. Night Call has strong crossover appeal to both science fiction readers and mystery fans. It explores the tensions of technology that surpasses human intelligence and therefore our control, as well as being a ripping good noir mystery, with plenty of historical Depression-era color mixed into a world we hardly know. Readers of Isaac Asimov, fans of the Blade Runner movies, also fans of Richard Morgan's Altered Carbon, either the book or the TV series on Netflix right now, they're going to love this series of novels. So the series is called The Walking Shadows. It's going to continue with book 2 in 2021 as well. And Night Call releases in November in trade paperback and ebook. And we have review copies available right now on NetGalley and Edelweiss for you. So to wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. And if you want to hear more from me from Dundurn Press, please do copy that link and sign up for our library newsletter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kendra. Next, we will hear from Maureen Meekins. Maureen is an associate marketing manager at Penguin Random House, and she's grateful for a day job that connects her with librarians and consists of reading and marketing endless books. And she's also a self-taught woodworker who spends her spare time out in her wood shop. Take it away, Maureen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Before I dive into the books, I just want to talk about some of our really great resources. So right now, we are offering a temporary open license for online story time and classroom read aloud videos and events. To learn more, you can visit tinyurl.com/PRHTempOpenLicense. And you can check out even more resources on readbrightly.com. It's a great website for teachers, librarians, and caregivers. And also be sure to check out our issue page for downloadable materials like book club brochures, digital samplers, and book club kits. And this could be a really great time to get patrons hooked on an audiobook series. So this slide is showing you just a few of the pros who have become inextricably intertwined with these series for listeners. And I'm super excited to tell you about our morning book buzz if you haven't joined in already. This is a new weekly book buzz that we're hosting every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And to register, you can visit tinyurl.com/PRH Morning Book Buzz sign up. So we hope to see you there virtually. And now I'm going to go into the books. And this is funny. So I guess great minds think alike because Alexa from Soho Crime already presented this title, but I'll quickly just highlight Murder in Chianti as well because it's definitely going to be on everyone's reading lists. And so on to new books. This one is for readers of Ruth Ware, Leanne Moriarty, and Sherry LaPena. The Golden Cage is an exhilarating new novel from a global superstar known as Europe's Queen of Crime, Camilla Lockberg. It's a sexy, over-the-top psychological thriller that tells the story of the scorned wife of a billionaire and her delicious plot to get her revenge and bring him to his knees. And this is a departure for Lackberg. Her previous novels were all set in the same small town, featuring the same journalist and police officer. But this new series is edgy, and it's set in the cosmopolitan world of wealthy urbanites. So think Crazy Rich Asians, but with more champagne and blood. And we also have a 2-book deal, so you can be on the lookout for book 2 in the series. So I want to preface this next book by saying that the story is drawn from real-life experience. Jen Waite is the author of A Beautiful, Terrible Thing, a memoir of marriage and betrayal, and is a survivor of an abusive marriage herself. And in this novel, she draws from her experience that are detailed in that memoir. And the result is a tale of claustrophobic horror and strength. Survival Instincts is a captivating and terrifying novel about a mother and daughter who must draw strength from each other when they find themselves trapped in a cabin with a stranger who wants to either control them or kill them. This one's definitely good for book clubs, and best-selling author Riley Sager says it's tense, tightly plotted, and gorgeously written. And I'm sure you're all familiar with the hit Netflix movie from 2018, Bird Box. So here we have Mallory. This is Josh Mallerman's much-anticipated sequel. And in this time, it's Mallory who's front and center. She's played by Sandra Bullock in the movie. And she'll confront the dangers of her world head-on 12 years in the future from where Bird Box left off. So this is perfect for fans of Stephen King, Chuck Wendig, and Joe Hill, all the heavy hitters. And this next book has it all: an epic Vegas heist, a high-octane international romance, and a charismatic thief. Love and Theft by Stan Parrish is propulsive, deeply suspenseful, and layered with mesmerizing twists. When Alex Cassidy and Diane Allison meet at a party, the chemistry between them is instant and undeniable. She's a single mother, local fixture, and owner of a successful catering company. He's a single father and weekend homeowner, and the leader of an armed robbery crew that just pulled off a record-breaking precision jewel heist in Vegas. Neither one of them realizes that their lives have actually overlapped before, and that the shared history they uncover will threaten everyone they love. This is perfect for readers of Two Girls Down, Missing Presumed, and fans of films like Ocean's 11 and The Italian Job. Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney is perfect for your domestic suspense readers and for fans of The Silent Patient and Something in the Water. It asks the question, how far would you go to protect your family? When Pete Riley answers the door one morning, on his doorstep is Miles Lambert, a stranger who breaks the devastating news that Pete's son, Theo, isn't actually his son. He's the Lamberts, switched at birth by an understaffed hospital while their real son was sent home with Miles and his wife, Lucy. But now, the plan to sue the hospital triggers an official investigation that unearths some disturbing questions about the night their children were switched. Stretched to the breaking point, Pete and Maddie discover they will stop at nothing to keep their family safe and that they are done playing nice. The new thriller from E.G. Scott, In Case of Emergency, follows a woman looking for answers after her boyfriend goes missing and a corpse appears that implicates her in the murder of a woman she never met. This is perfect for fans of Lisa Gardner and Lisa Scottolini. And E.G. Scott's first book, The Woman Inside, is currently in development for a limited series by Blumhouse, the studio that brought us Sharp Objects and Get Out. So you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for interest in this one since we'll be hearing a lot about E.G. Scott. Next we have We Are All the Same in the Dark by Julia Heberlin. It's been a decade since Triminelle Branson disappeared, leaving only a bloody handprint behind. Her brother Wyatt lives as a pariah in the desolation of the old family house, cleared of wrongdoing by the police, but tried and sentenced in the court of public opinion and in a new documentary about the crime. When Wyatt finds a lost girl dumped in a field of dandelions, he believes she is a sign. Desperate to solve both cases, the town's youngest cop fights to save the lost girl in the present and to dig up the shocking truth about a fateful night in the past. This is perfect for readers of Tana French and twisty psychological suspense like Laura Lippman's Sunburn and Jane Harper's The Dry. The Glass Kingdom by Lawrence Osborne is perfect for readers of literary suspense. Set within the glass-walled world of a luxury high-rise in Bangkok, this book is a tense, stunningly well-observed novel of a young American woman on the run. From a master of atmosphere and mood, The Glass Kingdom is a brilliantly unsettling story of civil and psychological unrest and an enthralling study of karma and human greed. Osborne has been called a modern-day Graham Greene and compared to Patricia Highsmith and Ian McEwan. And with film rights now sold to all of his novels, The Glass Kingdom is definitely going to be on every suspense lover's reading list. I'm super excited for this one. It's for fans of Anthony Horowitz, Alexander McCall Smith, and Alan Bradley, and the recent hit film Knives Out. In a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the Jigsaw Room to discuss unsolved crimes. Together, they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. When a local developer is found dead with a mysterious photograph left next to the body, the Thursday Murder Club suddenly find themselves in the middle of their first live case. As the bodies begin to pile up, can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? This book is like a game of Clue come to life, and I like to say if A Man Called Ove were a crime novel, it would be the Thursday Murder Club. In After All I've Done, writing as Mina Hardy, New York Times bestselling author Megan Hart delivers a thrilling new psychological suspense for fans of The Woman in the Window and When the Lights Go Out. 5 months ago, an accident left Diana Sparrow badly injured and missing a few months of her memory. As if that's not enough, she started having recurring nightmares about the night of the accident. Dreams that feel so real, she's left questioning, maybe she didn't just slide off the road into a ditch. Maybe she hit something or someone. Diana begins to wonder, who was with her that night? What really happened? As her life unravels thread by thread and the dreams become too real to ignore, Diana will have to face the unthinkable and do the unforgivable. This one is perfect for your mystery book clubs. And the last title I'm going to talk about is The Lady Upstairs. This is for fans of Laura Lippman and Riley Sager and readers of My Sister, the Serial Killer. It's a modern-day noir featuring a twisty cat-and-mouse chase that tells the story of a woman who makes a living taking down terrible men, then finds herself in over her head with blood on her hands. And the only way out is to pull off one final con. The Lady Upstairs is a delicious debut thriller crackling with wit and an unforgettable feminist voice and is a chilling and endlessly surprising take on female revenge. In a starred review from Kirkus, they said, it's a scorching, knockout noir from an author to watch. And if you're looking for even more, be sure to download our latest Booklist ad with the essential mystery and thrillers to read right now. And if you want, you can request more information in eGalleys by visiting tinyurl.com/PRH Booklist Mystery Webinar 20. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Maureen. Our final presenter today will be Chris Connolly. Chris is the Senior Marketing Associate of the Library Marketing Team at HarperCollins. Hailing from Indiana, he spends his free time reading science fiction and wandering New York City parks. And his Patronus is David Lynch. Bring us home, Chris.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I hope everyone's hanging in there okay. So let's just get started. I am Chris Connolly. I'm with the HarperCollins Library Marketing Team, aka Library Love Fest. We have all our housekeeping here, our website, librarylovefest.com. With tons of resources there that are particularly helpful. We have a new video series every Tuesday and Thursday, door to door, which comes to you via Facebook Live. Don't worry if you don't use Facebook, they're on YouTube afterwards as well. And since this is a mystery webinar, important to note that we have Karin Slaughter coming up on May 14th. We have Laura Lippman next week on May 5th. Ivy Pacoda on May 7th. Just a ton of different mystery thriller authors, in addition to much, much more. So you can visit our site for our full schedule. Very exciting. Let's see here. We have Instagram takeovers as well as part of that. Visit us at Harper Library. I know there's a lot of questions about virtual author events. We did put together a full guide for you. So just visit our blog, and you can click on the little tile that says virtual author events, and we'll take care of you there. More details on whitelisting. Again, all of this is on our blog. Let's get to the books. Okay, Karin Slaughter, The Silent Wife. Every single book, Karin Slaughter brings it. This is no change in that. This is the 20th book in 2020, appropriately enough, in the Will Trent series, which Booklist just gave a star review, which calls another slam dunk. Again, Karin's going to be on Facebook Live with us on May 14th. And important to note, this did just change its publication date. It is now on sale August 4th, so you have another month to vote for it for library reads. And again, this is part of the Will Trent series, and this is really interesting in that it pits a new case versus a decade-old case that Will had thought was solved. But in this case, a young woman is found brutally attacked, and the case has stirring and disturbing similarities to a case that, again, was supposedly solved 8 years prior. But Will talks to the man who is in jail accused of this murder, who says he has a tip that might help solve it. There is a great interpersonal relationships that are explored. Karin, I think, just does her characterizations with such depth and heart, while again also being extremely terrifying and thrilling. Every single book she brings it. This is no different. So this is coming in August. That's The Silent Wife by Karin Slaughter. Next up, we have The Truth Hurts. So The Truth Hurts by Rebecca Reid is coming July 28th. And this is a really great, tightly wound mystery about a quick romance that starts off in Ibiza, where a man and woman have a fast relationship. They quickly become wed and then move to the man's remote English countryside estate. It's luxurious, it's beautiful, but the man does have one rule: no questions about his past. And oddly enough, much to his surprise, the bride doesn't seem to push against this that much. So they both seem to be hiding something, and the question is, what is better, a secret or a lie? Really wonderful, again, mystery thriller. Lisa Barr gave it a really great quote. She's the award-winning author of The Unbreakables. This gripping page-turner asks the reader, what is more dangerous, a secret or a lie? This repulsive read had me at chapter 1 and kept me turning the pages long after it lights out. A really, really great thriller for fans of The Simple Favor and The Kiss Quotient. Next up, we have Final Cut by S.J. Watson. I am in the grips of this novel as we speak. If you've read S.J. Watson, you'll know him from his best-selling Before I Go to Sleep, which has sold millions of copies. This is my first book that I've read by him, and I am absolutely enthralled by it. This follows a young documentary filmmaker who is traveling to this remote countryside fishing village in Maine to just start her new project about this town which has fallen on hard times. But as she begins to research the villagers, she gets a sense that there's something big being hidden, not very far beneath the surface. Again, S.J. Watson is just a really revered thriller author this is a long-anticipated third installment for him. So we highly recommend you check it out. It's coming August 25th. Winter Counts by David Heska, Wanli, Weiden. I adore this book. I think this is a necessary book, but it's also just a really tightly wound thriller. So this is a debut, and it's one of the first of its kind in that it's set on a Native American reservation, and David himself is a Native American author. And it follows Virgil Wounded Horse, who is a local enforcer on the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. And on Native reservations, this is based on a true fact, due to the Major Crimes Act, any felony that's committed on a reservation has to be pushed to the federal government, and then they decide if they prosecute. So what happens often is these violent offenders, the federal government doesn't feel like wasting the time or resources to prosecute, so they walk free. And so what happens is these enforcers are hired to carry out their own brand of justice. And that's what Virgil Wounded Horse is doing. He carries out justice on this reservation and then discovers that there are drugs being funneled onto the reservation. And it hits close to home when his nephew, who he takes care of, almost dies from an overdose. So he tracks these drugs along with his ex-girlfriend. It takes him to Colorado, all around. It's a really succinct and really poignant look, again, at native life. There's hints of humor. It's fast-paced, really, really well-plotted. Just a wonderful debut. We're really excited about the future of David Heska, Wanli, Weiden. We have a great podcast episode. If you go to SoundCloud and search Library Love Fest, I interviewed him at PLA. Highly worth your time. Love this book. It's coming August 25th. All right, The Talented Miss Farwell. This is a big book for us. So this is coming September 29th by Emily Gray Tedrowe. This is very much in that vein of Catch Me If You Can, The Talented Mr. Ripley. We're calling it Catch Me If You Can meets Patricia Highsmith. And it's about a woman at the end of the 1990s, Miss Rebecca Farwell, who is basically a well-known, really revered high art collector. She is well known in the New York City circles, but what they don't know is that she also has a very full-fledged life thousands of miles from the Big Apple in Pearson, Illinois, where she's just a quiet single woman known as Becky who lives in her family's farmhouse, wears sensible shoes, and works as the town's treasurer and controller. Well, her scheme, funneling money from this small town into her fine art collection, starts to snowball, and slowly these worlds are coming closer and closer to colliding. It's a really fascinating look, and I really like this blurb that we got from Rebecca Mackay, author of The Great Believers. Becky Farwell is one of the most wickedly compelling characters I've read in ages, a Machiavellian marvel, a modern Becky Sharp, a character to root for despite your better judgment, and her story, both topical and timeless, will knock you off your feet. On Edelweiss, we have a great press kit where Emily writes about the real-life case that inspired this and how she kind of got into the mind of someone who leads such detailed double lives. What's that psychology like? A really big book for us. It's coming September 29th. It's The Talented Miss Farwell. Make Them Cry by Smith Henderson and John Marc Smith. This is really cool. Smith Henderson's the beloved award-winning author of 4th of July Creek. John Marc Smith is a screenwriter. This is their first novel together, and this is very much for fans of The Border, Jason Bourne. It's a really fast-paced, explosive crime thriller about a DEA agent, Diane Harbaugh. She's tough as nails. She's the only one who can often interrogate really dangerous witnesses and has them confessing in tears. But she is interviewing a high-ranking cartel member with secrets that lead to the international black market and also a widespread corruption in the government. So Diane finds herself knowing more than she should and is suddenly on the run, not knowing who to trust. A really explosive new novel from Smith Henderson. This is a really great new entry that we're very excited about. It's coming September 22nd. You see that great Tim O'Brien quote. He doesn't give blurbs often, so that you should take note of that. So that's Make Them Cry, coming September 22nd. Hench by Natalie, Zina, Walschots. This is our lead read for fall 2020, which is our program where we vote on one book each season that we really, really want to get behind. And this is a really interesting kind of departure based on what we've done in the past. It's a novel that basically explores a world where superheroes and supervillains are part of the everyday. People are hired by them, and you follow one woman who is actually a hench person for a criminal. And again, she's just doing her spreadsheets, kind of helping the enterprise along. And when a superhero kind of discovers their hideout and basically kills so many of the people she was working with and also gravely injures injures Anna, the character, Anna begins to question everything she knows about the superheroes versus supervillains, and she finds that the answers are in spreadsheets and that the line between supervillains and superheroes really aren't that different. A really smart, unique look at this, and again, it's propulsive, really fast-paced and imaginative. I think it's a conversation starter and a really unique look at the superhero genre. All right, These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever. This is The Secret History meets Call Me By Your Name. It's a really compulsive debut, very Hitchcockian, about two college students who are very different but are seemingly interconnected despite their best interests. One is an art student who's really insecure, is from a working class family, who's reeling from his father's death. The other is this effortlessly charming intellectual who goes to the same college. And again, they develop this relationship thick as thieves until a shocking act of violence irrevocably changed their relationship and how they see themselves. This is a really interesting debut that we're really excited about. It's coming September 15th, and I need to rush. The last book I'm going to talk about is The Silent Conspiracy by Elsie Shaw. This is the next installment. Elsie Shaw is the writing name for Lynn Constantine, part of the Liv Constantine writing duo. We love the Constantine sisters. This is more of a political thriller about widespread conspiracies that really follows up The Network, the first installment in this series, which Steve Barry called mandatory reading for any thriller aficionado. Needless to say, Lynn brings it every single time. We love these books, and we really love the Constantines. So highly recommend that. Just take note, the guest list by Lucy Foley, the date change for on sale, more October books that we want you to know about. And if I had more time here, more books I'll talk about. We'll post details about everything on our blog, Library Love Fest. Thank you again, everyone, for taking your time and giving us your attention. We hope we found something you can't wait to read and your patrons can't wait to read. And again, let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Chris, and a big thank you to all of our wonderful panelists today. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing a link to today's slide presentation, certificate of completion, and video archive of today's webinar, which will also be posted at booklistonline.com/webinars. Please visit that same URL to learn more about our webinars, view and archive of past